Yesterday is history. Tomorrow's a mystery. Today is a gift. That's why it's called the present. And Locked on USC has a special gift for today's episode.
You are Locked on USC, your daily podcast on the USC Trojans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Fight on, everyone. I'm your host, Mark Colkin, and thank you for making Locked on USC. It's part of the Locked on Network, your first listen every day. Whether you are watching this show on YouTube, you can pick the platform. You can download this podcast today, right now. This show is going to always be free, and this show is always going to appreciate your support. This episode is brought to you by Mazda. Just like there's more to every player, more dedication, more attention to detail, there's more to a Mazda vehicle. Stay tuned later in the episode for highlights from this week's Moving the Game Forward, Mazda Move and Be Moved. All right, the Trojan family has a long, and I mean a long, illustrious, historic past. And the future is always bright when you're a Trojan. But let's celebrate today. The Trojans are 1-0. They're coming off a 73-13 victory. They're going to host a former Trojan family head coach, Clay Helton, this weekend. That's in a few days. Today, I have a present. Marvin Powell III. You recognize that name. His father, Marvin Powell. He's in the record books. I mean, two-time All-American at USC, All-Pro with the New York Jets. He won a national championship playing for John McKay. I mean, the guy was everything. And then he had a son named Marvin. He played at USC. You're looking at him right now.
That's right.
By the way, I do want to say rest in peace to your father. I know he passed away a few years ago.
He did.
Marvin, I cannot tell you how excited I am to have you here. Welcome to the show. Fight on.
Thank you. No, thank you for having me. It's great to be here. This is one of my favorite shows, and it's a go-to. And very thankful for what you do every day consistently.
You're humbling me, man. You really are. Listen, hey, bring everybody up to date. Tell the Trojan family, what have you been doing lately with your life? What's going on?
Yeah, so graduated from USC. Was fortunate enough to spend a few years in the NFL. Mostly with the New Orleans Saints and Iron Mike Ditka. That was the season that he traded away all the draft picks for Ricky Williams, and he brought in like 20 undrafted free agents. And I was fortunate enough to be one of the guys that made the team that year. But listen, went to law school, didn't finish. Ended up working as an entrepreneur, working in marketing for the last 20 to 25 years. And now I'm starting to really get into these podcasts. I love these podcasts, these sports podcasts, football podcasts. When I got the invite to get on yours, I mean, this was like the best day ever, But I've been living. Got a beautiful wife, got two amazing kids, Morgan and Marvin Powell IV, and just really excited about them and their future. Yeah.
What do you remember the most from your time playing for the Saints?
Man, New Orleans was amazing. This is before Katrina, so the city was buzzing. This is when the Hot Boys and Master P were really taking off.
Okay.
Little Wayne was 15 years old, but he was the big name in the city at that point. We had just drafted Ricky. The city was extremely excited about that. That was a really big deal. We had obviously Coach Ditka. Mike Ditka was amazing. But what I remember is a lot of losses. Unfortunately, a lot of losses in 99. Some great moments with some great guys. I was fortunate to play with Hall of Famer Willie Rove, obviously right. Rick, and guys like Danny Werfel. Danny was a great guy. We were teammates in New Orleans and Green Bay. We were roommates for a bit as well. But New Orleans was great, man. Great food, great city. They love their team, and coming from LA. Going to New Orleans, the energy, the vibe of the people were so much different. In LA, it's who you know and name dropping, and out there, man, it was much more grounded, genuine people. And really, it was a whole other experience. It was like a whole other world, But I loved it, I really did, and I missed my time in New Orleans, and it was good though. I enjoyed being there. I was very thankful for the organization and. It was a good experience. I mean, listen, I made it, and they're the team that brought me in, so I'm very thankful for them.
Absolutely. Now, I remember watching you play for USC. You played for for John Robinson, and then you also got to play for Paul Hackett. You played fullback. I don't know. Were you kind of a hybrid fullback tight end back in the day?
So I came in as a strong safety.
Okay.
I was a strong safety. I was listed as the #1 strong safety on the West Coast from Tom Lemmings. What's crazy is that was a projection. I never had played strong safety in my life. So I get out there at SC, first time backpedaling and all this stuff. Keyshawn is a senior, and I'm on the scout team my freshman year, and I got to hear his mouth, every single day, tell me how horrible I am, trying to guard him and stuff, man. It was horrible. But eventually moved on to fullback in the middle of my freshman year and played fullback second half of my freshman year. Started my first 4 games my sophomore year. Played tight end my junior year. And then my senior year, went back to fullback, played the last 10 games, and earned an opportunity to play in the NFL.
Yeah, you played with some dudes on those USC teams. I mean, you mentioned Keyshawn, Chris Claiborne, Alan McCutcheon.
Yes.
Darrell Russell.
Yeah, D. Russ.
I'm sorry?
No, D. Russ, yeah.
Yes. RJ Soward. I remember his first game as a freshman thinking, oh, wow, USC found something. I mean, there's a lot of guys on those teams you played on. Who was your favorite teammate?
My favorite teammate, it would have to be one of my guys, Dylan McCutcheon, Lawrence Larry, Billy Miller. We came in together. We called ourselves 128. That was our dorm number in Century Village, Century Apartments. And we had a phenomenal time in our 4 years at USC just being together. And it was very special playing with them. Outside of that group, I mean, Carson was a freshman in my senior year. He was our starting quarterback toward the end of the year. And he did outstanding. And Chad Morton was our running back. Chad was great. Chad ran for about 2,000 yards in 2 years. He was really good for us. And, so many guys. You said Chris Claiborne, Chris, and Zeke Marino. Zeke, they got me ready every day in run drill. Believe that, they did. They were outstanding. Probably the best player I played with, in my opinion, was Sammy Knight overall.
Did you guys get to play together at New Orleans?
Yeah, we did. My rookie year was his second or third year. And Sammy was an undrafted free agent as well in New Orleans, and now he's in the New Orleans Saints Hall of Fame. He had a great career. But at SC, I was very fortunate to play with so many great players, and it was a blessing.
Absolutely. I can only dream of that. I mean, you got skin in the game. You've left some blood on the turf, and that's what it's all about. And I really hope that today's generation of Trojan fans can appreciate what came before, because everything today is, NIL and the transfer portal and how fast can I get me there rather than the whole team thing. Which I got to ask this question.
Yeah.
What would your dad's NIL have been had that existed back in his day? What would he have been worth?
Yeah, so I mean, he was an elite player coming out of high school. Arguably at that time, the most heavily recruited player out of North Carolina.
Right.
And so I mean, this guy, I think O linemen right now, top guys are getting up to $800,000.
That's conservative.
Yeah. Okay. So then he would have been there. He was elite coming out of high school and out of college, and obviously in the NFL. So he would have been a top earner without question.
Okay, I'm going to give you a couple questions here. So, as I mentioned, you played for Coach Hackett. Mm-hmm. Coach Helton is coming in this weekend. Right or wrong, neither coach has been looked upon as I'm using finger quotes, great USC head coach. What kind of reception do you think the fans should give Clay Helton when he shows up on Saturday?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes. Can you hear me? So I was just wondering, how do you think the Trojan family should greet Clay Helton when he comes out of the tunnel for the first time?
Yeah, with class. Listen, in his career, he had a couple of highlights. Obviously, the Sam Darnold Rose Bowl is probably the peak of it, and that was a great game. I mean, these guys scored 100 points without overtime,
Right.
But Clay was always, I thought he was always a gentleman, always a professional. That means something to me. It does. Obviously, the standard is a standard, and there's a reason why he's no longer the head coach. But when he comes in here, I mean, he should be honored as somebody who gave his heart and soul to the program, because I believe that he did.
I agree with you.
Yeah, he gave us his best. He gave us his best. So what else do we want, right?
Absolutely. 100% in agreement with you there.
Mm-hmm.
And then, in your opinion, what do you think happened to the fullback position in football? Why is it a dinosaur, so to speak?
You know, what it comes down to is just like with the quarterback position, they're trying to put as many dynamic athletes on the field as possible. You know what I mean? And just like, you know, what you saw you don't see the Mark Bavaro tight end anymore. Now it's the Travis Kelce tight end. You know what I mean? So, you know, they're trying to put dynamic athletes out there at the quarterback position, at the second back, which was a fullback position, at the tight end position, you know, and in the game's just evolving with that spread offense. You know, everything is, you know, air raid, spread, and the traditional fullback doesn't really fit in that.
Yeah, now you call it the H-back now, where you can kind of line them up just off the line and in the backfield and do multiple things with them.
Yeah.
I remember watching you on a show maybe a year ago, talking about the position, so to speak, and it's just amazing to me that how the game has changed so much.
Right.
But it hasn't really changed that much. It's just the way they do things.
Yeah. And, you know, listen, for me, I was a blocking fullback. You know, I was a one-trick pony, but it was a hell of a trick. You know what I mean? They didn't throw me the ball. They didn't hand me the ball. I was an A-gap guy. I was an ISO guy. Me and that Mike Backer, you know, you're a battering ram essentially, you know, and you enjoy that. That's your pleasure.
Sure.
But that's not today's football. Now it's everybody's quick and light and spread it out, and you know.
Yeah, look, I grew up watching you. I remember Marcus Allen having to block for Charles White. It was like you had to go through this progression. No blocky, no rocky.
That's right.
You had to learn how to do that.
Yeah. And I take pride in it. You know, growing up with my dad, I mean, I learned football from the perspective of an offensive lineman, someone who played for John McKay mid-'70s. So, you know, I had an appreciation for blocking. I thought it was great. I didn't need the ball. You know, the best thing in the world was just me and the Mike Backer all day long, you know. So, you know, I took pride in it. There's a skill. I mean, when you watch it, you see two people run into each other, but what you're not seeing is the art. You're missing that. You know, there's a lot of skill trying to be exhibited there. You know what I mean? And it's a beautiful thing, you know. So, you know, I appreciate blocking. I look at the offensive line typically throughout the game when I'm watching SC or anybody else. I appreciate, you know, those who can get down and get dirty.
Now, as far as the rivalries, we're going to close this segment out with this. Which rivalry did you look forward to the most? Was it the UCLA one? Was it versus Notre Dame? And I got to get your opinion. What are your thoughts on this whole USC Notre Dame contract brouhaha, so to speak?
Me personally, I didn't like them people across town. I didn't like them people across town at all. You know, so without question, that was the game that I was looking forward to the most. Notre Dame is one that I respect. I respect the tradition and the rivalry. Listen, they need us and we want them. That's how I look at it. You know what I'm saying? Like they need us on that schedule, on that Luke schedule they play. You know, I want to play the game. I understand, you know, the road getting to the playoffs and all that stuff. The rivalry is part of the whole tradition and culture of who we are. You know, there's no way we move on and we elect to not play that game. We play the game under any circumstance.
I loved how you just described that. I think you're the first person who's given the perfect description to the rivalry. Yeah. They need USC. We want to play them.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that.
And with that said, you know, I want to play them. So we need to do this. You know, I understand they're trying to look at the business side of it and what makes the most sense. I get all that. But yeah, you ask an old guy like me, play the game.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. So all you Trojan fans out there, you've heard it from somebody who's played these games. There you go. That's the answer we're looking for. All right. We got to take care of some business. So let me do this. Hey, Locked On USC fans, are you still paying full price for gas? Stop leaving money behind. Get real cash back every time you fill up with the free Upside app. Simply download the free Upside app in the App Store or Google Play right now and start earning cash at the pump today. Go use my limited time promo code FOOTBALL and get an extra 25 cents back per gallon on your first fill up. You can make up to $300 a year just from buying the gas you already need. At first, I was like, no way is this true. Too good to be true. But it's totally legit. Real people are getting paid just to make their daily commutes, and you can do it too. Plus, you can cash out at any time to your bank account, PayPal, or get one of those e-gift cards for Amazon or any of the other major brands. Don't let this offer drive on by. Download the free Upside app now using my limited time promo code FOOTBALL, and for a limited time, you're going to get 25 cents off per gallon. That's promo code FOOTBALL. Offers vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions. Oh, almost forgot to do one more. My bad. These ads. Anyways, here we go. This is Mazda's Moving the Game Forward, brought to you by those who believe it's not just about playing the game, it's about redefining it. Because these moments do more than win. They push what's possible. They remind us to go that extra yard, shift into that extra gear, and keep moving the game forward. USC just beat Missouri State 73-13. There were a lot of highlights, and that just kept the crowd energized, ready to go. A defining moment for me was watching the wide receivers blocking downfield for all those explosive plays. When you follow what moves you, the unexpected is only the beginning. And just like there's more to every highlight, there's more to a Mazda vehicle. Mazda, move and be moved. All right, Marvin, let's talk about what USC did to Missouri State. Besides the final score, what stood out to you the most?
So what I wanted to see was an elite program due to a brand new FBS school, what they should do. I want to see separation. I want to see something, extraordinary from us and some inferior from them. And I saw that. I saw athletes all over the field. I felt that our D-line was strong and dominant and closed that pocket. I felt like the DBs were making plays all over the field. I felt like the running back room is just ridiculous with talent right now. I feel like we have Jaden look like a whole other player in regards to his confidence in his poise. Yep. I saw these guys do everything they should do when you play a team like that. And because they did that and they did it in that fashion, I feel good. I do.
You brought up the running backs. Coach Riley said this is his best room since he's been at USC.
He ain't lying.
When you watch Waymon Jordan, who does he remind you of when you watch him carry the ball?
Man, he looks like a smaller Lindell, to be honest with you. That's the first thing that comes to mind. He's special. I mean, his footwork, his body balance, his strength, his toughness, his speed. He's a special back. You heard a lot about him in camp and just about how he was climbing the ranks, and you see it. I mean, he's a special guy. But I tell you what, that number one, Eli.
Yep.
Man, this kid is this kind. It's always you always hear about these track guys that that play football, but you don't really see that speed translate on the field. He has track speed on the football field because the way he broke that first run. I mean, this guy he's a different talent. He's a special talent. And then obviously the Brian, I think, is an outstanding player. Brian would start at 3/4 of the teams in the Power Four right now.
Absolutely.
And then we had a couple other guys as well. But I saw us step on them and make them look small, which we should. I saw us flex muscles all over the field. I saw the young kids, the young guys dominating their guys as they should. So right. I feel good about that. They did what they should have done.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of people make this comment, and I agree with it. When I watched Eli Sanders stepping down that sideline, and he had that galloping motion to him, I was like, I've seen that somewhere before wearing cardinal and gold. And it was just like, you know what? That's kind of Anthony Davis. He might be a little bit bigger than AD, but that same running style. And I was like, that's a good thing. If you're being compared to that guy.
Yeah, well, AD's the man. That was one of my dad's best friends and teammates, and I've heard 1,000 stories. So when you say his name, trust me, I get it.
There you go. Now, so you talked about what you liked on offense. Was there anything that you saw and you're like, all right, you know what? Maybe let's put that back in the playbook, or they need to improve on this?
Honestly,
and I think with the sample size.
Listen, I wanted Lincoln to come out there and run student body right first play. I wanted to see him running the ball out the gate, to be honest with you. That's what I expected. So it was, it felt kind of weird coming out passing the ball the way they did, but they were effective. They were efficient. They scored in their first 6 possessions. So, what am I saying? But we need to see them run the ball. Like, if we're going to make a difference, if we're going to help this young quarterback, if we're going to allow our play action game to get going, we got to run that ball. And back to your point earlier, it wouldn't hurt for us to bring in a fullback or get that H-back back there. We need to run that ball. That our success this year, is based on us running the ball, period. And if we don't get that right and we don't get that ratio right, run to pass, we're going to have a problem.
You're absolutely right. Coach Riley talks about we want to be a physical team. We want to, use that size that we've been recruiting and developing, getting bigger to intimidate. Well, you got to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thoroughly agree. And I think the reason why, I'm just going to assume, trying to get inside the mind of Lincoln Riley, we're trying to build up Jaden Mayava's confidence, get him going early. And it worked. I mean, he was 15 for 18, 295 yards.
He looked great.
He watched from the sidelines the entire second half. So can't really complain. Now, that was the offense. On defense, what did you see that you really liked?
I loved Bishop Montgomery.
Sure.
Listen, Bishop, that kid's the real deal. He had some hype in the offseason, and to see him go out there first game and have an impact play, that was beautiful. I thought defense played great. I mean, I thought we put pressure on that quarterback. With every unit that was out there, I felt we were collapsing the pocket, and I thought we looked dominant. We looked how we should look against a team like that.
Thank you.
In the first quarter, in the second quarter, with the third team, with the fourth team, we looked how we should look, and that was encouraging. So, it makes you feel very good moving forward.
On that note, because they did exactly what they should have done to a team against a team they should do it against.
Right.
We know that the polls have a whole bunch of politics built into it. There's bias, there's regionality. Can you try and please explain it to me? Because I talked about it on yesterday's episode. How do you win by 60? And I wasn't anticipating jumping into the top 25. I figured, all right, they're going to move up. They'll get to number 26. How do you drop a team that wins by 62 spots?
Well, what I'll say is this. We're coming off a season where we lost to Maryland and lost to Minnesota, okay? Seriously, I mean, come on, who were we talking about?
I was at each one of those. You're right.
Yeah, okay. So, we're coming out, you see Alabama playing Florida State. You see other teams getting into it already, Miami, Notre Dame, right? So we coming out there against Missouri State. The reality is this. The fact that we moved back tells me that, they're going to frown upon teams that don't play against, high caliber teams. I'm good with that. Now, like you said in the earlier show, it makes it harder to move up when you're so far down, but we got to earn it. We got to earn it on the field. We got to earn it by BTA. Okay. You know what BTA is, Mark? Okay. It's belt to ass. That's what we got to do. Okay. And we have to go out there this week against the good old coach, Clay Helton, and do what grown men do. Okay. We got to go out there and get it done. And it has to look the same moving forward every single week. So we have to earn that. I hate to see it. I think the West Coast is definitely hated on. I hate to say it, but it's true. I think there's a lot of jealousy going on between them boys down south when they look at how we living on the West Coast with this beautiful thin air and the palm trees and the whole culture, the vibe is different from, Midwest down south. And people jealous of SC because it's SC. I mean, come on, right? It's don't get me started on that. Anyway, but yeah, the polls are absolutely crazy. And we're going to have to really keep that scoring margin up against lesser teams, and we're going to have to win games. But we're going to have to earn it the old school way.
Yeah, the last thing the rest of college football world wants to see is USC rise from the ashes.
Right.
We saw what can happen when USC has all their ducks in a row and the well-oiled machine is working.
Right. You
start winning 34 games in a row. You start going into SEC country, kicking butt, taking names, and taking their lunch money back home with you.
That's it. That's right.
USC's getting back to that. The recruiting class, number one in the country. If they can take what they did this past game, carry it over to the next game, and again, just keep building, keep stacking good days, the rest of the college football world is going to be going, oh no, we've seen this movie before. We know how it ends. It ends well for USC. It doesn't end well for everybody else. So
that's right. Listen, it is the only choice. It is the place to be. Believe me, it's the choice that I made, you made, my dad made. I feel like this. When those recruits get out there, I don't know how they even get on that plane and come home, because I know that these boys coming from down south and from the Midwest going to LA, they love it out there. They do. They love it.
They do.
They never experienced that before. They love that light air, that thin air. They don't know what to do with that, you know?
Absolutely. All right, I want you to think about this question, because it's going to be the next question I want you to answer in the next segment. I got to do this commercial first. So how good can this USC team be? Think about that for 30 seconds. It's almost the weekend. It's time to look back and crown this week's MVP on Who Delivered, powered by DoorDash. Just like you can win every Saturday with your DoorDash Streaks, saving money every time you order. These players delivered when it matters most. Let's break it down. USC's Lake McCree showed off his speed, dashing for a 64-yard touchdown reception, and I think that left everyone wanting more. When McCree is healthy, he's showing what he's capable of, and now he's showing us more of what that offers. And just like Lake McCree delivered for USC, DoorDash delivers your Saturdays. With DoorDash Streaks, you save every Saturday you order. Stack it up all season, and you can save up to $250, including $100 in DoorDash credits. Order this Saturday. Keep the streak alive. Fuel your game day only with DoorDash. Terms apply. Promo period runs through November 18th. Okay, you've had time to think about it, Marvin. How good can this team be in 2025?
It really comes down to one thing: the health of our offensive line. If those guys stay healthy, and you can say that with any team, but with us in particular on our team, because losing DJ and listen, anyway, if we stay healthy at the O-line, I think we are an 11-1 team. I said what I said, and I believe it. And I said, and I've been thinking this. I do.
I'm not going to argue with you.
Yeah. Listen. Just like you, I've been paying attention to our team and what's happening and what we're doing at each position. So I feel confident about our DBs. I feel confident about our middle linebackers. I feel confident with our front. With our four guys up front. I feel confident about our quarterback and our receivers and our running backs and our tight end. And I like our healthy, healthiest 6-7 linemen. I feel we're an 11-1 team, Mark.
Okay. Again, I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not even going to come close to that. So let me ask you this then, because you've played the game. You know what it's like to come off a big win against a team. And then, sometimes players, they're human. Is there any possibility for a letdown in game 2?
Absolutely not. Against Georgia Southern?
Yeah.
No. We can pull 11 out the stands for this. Listen, Mark. No, I'm kidding. No, just it won't. Listen, at the end of the day, we all know what trap games are, and I don't think this is even that. No, there's no way in the world. You're going to see a game very similar to what we saw in our first game. Maybe not 60. Maybe we win by 40, 45, 50, but it'll be very similar, I believe. I think we're going to be flexing our muscles from the first quarter to the fourth.
I agree. I don't see USC coming close to scoring 70 points again, but they could probably touch half a C note and feel really good about what they did.
They just took a big whooping to Fresno State.
I know.
Fresno State. Okay, so that's Fresno State. That's there are levels to this. You know what I mean? So this is going to be a whole nother situation, Mark. So it is what it is. Yeah, I'm expecting something similar.
Yeah. Like I said, I hear you. I know where you're coming from. Going 11-1. Yeah. You've watched the show. You've heard me break it down. Win your 7 home games. That should be the floor. You get 7 wins by just winning at home. Your first road game of the year, you're going to Purdue. They're rebuilding this year. You're now at 8 wins. You've got 4 more road games. Give me 2 more, you're going to the playoffs. So you've got to be able to find a win at Illinois, a win at Nebraska. You hope that shouldn't say you hope, but you know the 2 toughest games are it's going to be in South Bend, it's going to be in Eugene. If they split one of those, both of those, now you're at 11-1.
Mark, listen, I believe in Lincoln Riley. I really do. I'm one of these guys who, just like you, and we've heard it 1,000 times, people don't realize in every single game last year, we were there. You know, nobody beat us up last year. Nobody took us to the woodshed. You know, we were right there. This program has been growing and evolving. You know, small parts of it getting better every year. But I feel like at this point now, we have the players, we have the coaches, we have a quarterback who's been in the system for a little bit. And I genuinely believe we're going to see us finish those games that we lost last year. And when you look at it like that, we're looking at 11-1. And that's real, Mark. That's not emotional. That's the real deal.
Trojan fans, you just heard it right there from the legend himself, Marvin Powell III. USC is winning 11 games this year. That means USC is making the playoffs for the first time in their history. And who knows, maybe championship number 12 is just a few months away. That's all we're looking forward to. Because like you said, the standard is the standard at USC.
That's it. You know, so we got players, we got coaches. Let's go. We got the NIL, you know, we got that NIL. Let's go.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Marvin, I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you jumping on and doing the show. I'm going to encourage you to come back. We'll talk more football. Maybe we'll break down the next game against Georgia Southern.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. So we'll make that happen. Marvin, again, thank you so much.
Thank you, Mark. I appreciate you, man.
Anytime. Tell your friends, anybody who wants to come on the show, pass out my number. They are always welcome. We'll do a panel if we have to.
Okay.
We'll get you and your teammates on here.
Love to do that.
There you go. Everyone, I'll be back tomorrow with another episode. It'll be Friday. I'll have my Friday rant. We'll find something that I'm upset about, get off my chest. Usually have a couple things, so we'll see. I do have one thing. We'll talk about comparing Lincoln Riley to Pete Carroll. That's the premise. I'm kind of teasing everybody on that one. So until then, everyone, you know what to do.